I was just looking for shade when I found it buried deep. The stone whispered, and the vines moved like snakes. That shrine wasn't abandoned. It was waiting. I shouldn't have touched it. The second my fingers gripped the glass, the air around me shifted. The birds froze, and even the wind held its breath. Was waiting. When that first grain of red sand dropped, I swear time bent. My shadow stretched into someone else's, and it looked straight back at me with a smile. I kept walking forward, but footsteps appeared behind me, moving backward into the jungle. It felt like something was following me, but in reverse. It saw me, a creature crawling from the mist with melted clocks for flesh and eyes that ticked like broken watches. Its mouth moved in reverse like it was screaming yesterday. I ran faster than I ever have, but the trees rearranged behind me like a maze rebuilding itself. I passed the same dead crow again and again. The fourth time it whispered, "You're late." I looked into a pool of water and saw myself burnt hollow, and staring back like it had lived through something I hadn't yet. It whispered words I never said. A portal tore open in the sky shaped like a spinning clock, and inside I saw the same shrine, but under a blood-red moon with someone standing at its center. It was me, stitched together, metal across my chest, screaming in silence from inside the portal. His eyes were wild, like he'd seen every nightmare time could throw. They came crawling with my memories in their claws. One held my childhood shoe. Another carried my first gun. They were parts of me, and they were hungry. A child appeared in the sky with clock hands spinning in his eyes. He floated like a god, and every tree leaned toward him as if obeying something ancient. Red sand rose into the sky like smoke, and each grain whispered something different. Some were my memories, some were voices that hadn't happened yet. The sky shattered into glass, and inside each broken piece was a different version of my life. I saw myself laughing. I saw myself burning. I saw myself already dead. The river flowed backwards, and the fish swam like ghosts. I reached to touch the water, but my reflection pulled away like it didn't want to be part of me anymore. I found a gravestone with my name carved into it. The date said today, and the shovel in the dirt was being held by something wearing my shadow. The hourglass cracked again. This time something inside it tried to break free. Fingers pressed against the glass. They weren't human. Midnight came and never left. The stars disappeared, and the moon split in two. The jungle froze like the world decided to stop breathing. I kept waking up at the shrine, but each time I was more damaged. My voice was weaker. My eyes saw less. Time was breaking me piece by piece. They stood around me, versions of me stitched together with time. They had no mouths, but I could feel them screaming inside my head. My chest burned, and a clock face rose from beneath my skin. It ticked louder than my heartbeat. It wanted to take over. Inside the cave were shattered clocks nailed to walls. Time beasts crawled like insects made of seconds. In the center was a throne made from every hour I had wasted. I fought. I drove a shard of time through its chest. It screamed like a collapsing memory and crumbled into centuries of dust. The child came back. He stood above me crying sand. When he pointed, the trees around us began to rot and die instantly. A red sandstorm roared around me, each grain cut like a knife. In the center, the hourglass spun so fast it blurred into a red sun. Only one grain remained. The world glitched around me. My body faded one frame at a time, like I was being erased from history. I fell into the hourglass. Inside was a desert filled with hundreds of me crawling, screaming, breaking. We were all trapped in our own time. The last Rango stood tall, old, blind, and still breathing. He held a glowing hourglass and said if I wanted to survive, I had to forget everything. Time itself stepped forward. It had no face, only ticking gears and moving parts. It offered me a trade. reset everything, but lose myself forever. I shattered the glass with everything I had. Time screamed. A flood of broken moments rushed over me. I felt every life I never lived. I woke up alone in the desert. The sky was ticking, but the shrine was gone. The hourglass was gone. Only I remained, and I think time is watching.